Okay, we're gonna try this again. See if I finally figured out how to work this camera. It's actually my cell phone, and anyhow, this is now the second walkthrough. So anyhow, I am filming this for my pleasure, trying to record things that I've made and posting them on YouTube. So after I've given them away, I'll always kind of have a little piece of them. So, this is a book of happiness and joy for a good friend of mine. Her name is Candy, and she has a birthday coming up. So, this is a chubby little book, and it's 3 inches by about 5.5 and 7.5 inches tall. And I've made this little tassel for the end filled with charms and soft, pretty things. This book has got 3 signatures and not a lot of pages. I made this book kind of differently than I have in previous books. I made the pages, and after I embellished and did all these pages, then I stuck them on sheets of paper and sewed them into this book. So I knew it would be a chubby one, and I didn't want to load it with a lot of pages that couldn't then hold it all. So I kind of did this one differently. So this is filled with sayings and different things to inspire and put a smile on my friend's face. So here is a little tag, and it's got a little envelope. And in the envelope it says, "A true friend knows you as you are, understands you where you have been, and loves you with their whole heart." And I'm going to put things back as I go, because if I don't, it gets very confusing as to where it all goes and fits. And right on this page is a little birthday girl. I think she is an adorable birthday fairy. She looks like she can grant some wishes. And here's a little tuck spot. And it says, "Friends forever. Make a wish, eat cake, and celebrate big." And it says, "We are all of us stars, and we deserve to twinkle." Marilyn Monroe. Slide that back in. And tuck this back in this spot. And she's got some pretty sparkles on her shoes and some vintage buttons and some lace. And here is a birthday cake charm. And speaking of birthday cakes, on this page, on these 2 pages, it's filled with vintage, I think they were from a recipe book. This is digital art that I bought off the internet. And they open up, and I hope you can see this. There's a little birthday girl, and there's a birthday cupcake, and it says "Happy Birthday." And on this side, we've got a little girl feeding our boy some cake, or the chocolate off her hands. So here's some little reader cards. It says, "Candles. It is better to light a candle than curse the darkness." Eleanor Roosevelt. And this one says, "Cake. Life's too short to say no to cake." Or cookies. And here's Shirley Temple with her big birthday cake. And behind here, let's see if I can get these out, a little teeny weeny little paper. And this one says, "Put another candle on the birthday cake. I'm another year old today." Sheriff John. I loved Sheriff John growing up when I was a kid, and get to watch him, and he would sing that every day to people who had a birthday that day. And on this side, let's see, we've got a girl putting candles on a cake. And in here, this one says, "A party without cake is just a meeting." Julia Child. Cake is important for birthdays. That is for sure. Slip that back in there. And this one opens up, and it has a vintage, I shrunk down a little vintage birthday card. It says "Birthday Greetings." And the pocket is made out of vintage lace. And on this side, we've got All You Need Is Love, but a little chocolate now and then doesn't hurt. Charles Schulz said that. Okay. And she loves Disneyland and everything Disney. So I've got some Disney things in here, that's for sure. She's even a Club 33 member at Disneyland. So, and she also loves the ocean. She loves Hawaii, and she would go there all the time. So on this side, I made a little book of The Little Mermaid. And speaking of Disneyland, when I was a kid, they used to have girls with mermaid tails. They'd slip them on and they would sit on the rocks and wave it at the people walking by. And this was in the lagoon that had the submarine ride that would go around. So I've got a couple pictures of that in here. Always be yourself. Unless you could be a mermaid, then always be a mermaid. And on this page, there they are waving. And this was on Life magazine, this photo. Advice from a mermaid. Beauty comes from within. See treasure in simple things. Share life's joyful song. Make a wish upon a starfish. And there's Peter Pan, and he's telling a story to the mermaids in Mermaid Lagoon. And waving goodbye. And on this page, I stuck a couple little pearls on the pages, and I've got a lot. You probably can't see this, but there's a lot of glitter that I put on there. And this book has consisted, I believe I said, 3 signatures. So these are the thread that I sewed them in with. So there's some things that I stuck on the end. So here's, I thought that would be some pixie dust. And here's a charm of a mermaid. She dreams of the ocean late at night and longs for the wild salt air. The sea, once it casts its spell, holds one in its net of wonder forever. Jacques Cousteau said that. Dive deep for the treasure that you seek. And this one says, I believe in the ocean curing all bad moods. I believe in the waves wiping away worries. I believe in seashells bringing good luck. I believe in toes in the sand grounding my soul. So these little cards I glued on some vintage lace and with some sari silk to kind of help hold it together also. Kind of made a little book out of that. Goes back behind the Little Mermaid. And here we've got Mickey and Minnie and wishing us an aloha. And I made this book to be like they had a tropical vacation with their friends on a Disney cruise. So this is their little memory book. Playing in the sand, and there's Donald Duck. And there they all are, having fun. And Mickey and Minnie smooching on the beach. And on this side, got them surfing. And I found on the internet some comic books, so I shrunk them down and printed them. And there's Mickey Mouse, and there's Donald Duck. And you're hearing my 2 bulldogs, Pearl and Kona bark. Here's a little seashell. And now we're on some fairy pages here. And this is just a little card. This is Fairy Love. And in this little bag, we've got these birdies. Birds can fly because they have perfect faith. For to have faith is to have wings. J.M. Barrie. And that's a gentleman that wrote Peter Pan. And on this little one, she's a cutie. And let's see. May your heart always be joyful. May your song always be sung. and may you stay forever young. There's a lady on YouTube. Her name is Jen Miller, and she has been a great inspiration for me in journaling, junk journaling, and she does the most amazing journals, and there's no room for journaling to speak of, but they're filled with these all kinds of fun quotes and little tuck spots, and it's just jam-packed full of the beautiful things she makes. So if something you're interested in, definitely go check her out. She is a delightful lady and a joy to watch. So here's a couple of more tags. This little envelope's made from an old book page. And always act like you're wearing a crown. Slip that one. And this one, Fairy Whispers. Very tiny little envelopes. I made these little envelopes. And they were so much fun to do. Let's see, this one says, that's a long one. If you hear a whisper on the wind, you know a fairy is nearby. Okay, tuck this little guy in there and slip those back. And they go right behind here. And on this, I've got a little butterfly charm attached to that. And here we've got a couple of fairies, and this one says dream big and admit one popular theater in Honolulu. And let's see, this one, someday you will be old enough to start reading fairy tales again. C.S. Lewis. I love fairy tales. Let's see, let's put it all back. And again, this ticket is kind of a nod to her love of Hawaii. And over here, behind the pretty fairy, we've got a bigger envelope. And inside this is, these are little children fairies. And I don't know if you can see if it sparkles, but I just sprayed it with some all kinds of little fine glitter on it. And it's kind of fun. And here's a couple of pretty ladies. And pulling this butterfly out, we've got another envelope. Well, you know what? I am going to see if sorry about that. I needed to get my little tweezers. I think that will make it easier to get this out. Maybe not. Oh. That's in there good. Let's see. Oh, come on, you. There we go. So this was a little fragile, so I put some washi tape on the back of this one. Just living is not enough, said the butterfly. One must have sunshine, freedom, and a little flower. By Hans Christian Andersen, The Complete Fairy Tales. And I'm going to tuck that back in there, but maybe not so deep this time. And goes back in there. And here's a little tuck spot, and it says, today will be a most amazing day. And here's another butterfly, and again on a whole book page, and I have decoupaged a napkin on that. And this is, life is full of beauty. Notice it. Notice the bumblebee, the small child, and the smiling faces. Smell the rain and feel the wind. Live your life to the fullest potential and fight for your dreams. Ashley Smith said that. I think our dreams are definitely worth fighting for. Okay, and here's a couple of little things. Again, I sewed on the signature string, tied them on. And on this page is Peter Pan. It's one of my favorites. And I cut out, I have quite a few little golden books, and some of them are kind of tired. So I cut this one up, the pages, and fussy cut it and added on to these pages. Here's a Believe charm. The second star to the right shines in the night for you to tell you that the dreams you plan really can come true. And this one says, come with me where dreams are born and time is never planned. Peter Pan. And in Peter Pan's book, let's see, little boys should never be sent to bed. They always wake up a day older. Peter Pan. And there's some comic book pages. And all you need is faith, trust, and a little pixie dust. And there she is. That's Tinkerbell. She's my favorite. She's in there. And here is a little fairy wand charm that's on the edge of this page. And here's a couple of pretty ladies. And up here we've got a little swallow. And in this book, this also I Mod Podged the front of it and the back of it, and it gives it kind of a leathery feel. It's kind of fun. And in this there's a bird and some old music paper, and I decoupaged on that also. Another envelope. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. You were born to shine. Again, more decoupage. You could slip a little secret note in that tuck spot. And there's another one. I guess for some journaling. As the gal said, and now her name escapes me, Jeannie Miller. For all your journaling needs, she would have just a little teeny vacant spot, and she would say, "This is for all your journaling needs." And let's see this lady, and women are meant to be loved, not understood. Oscar Wilde. There's a little birdie. I put a hat on the bird. And this one says, money can't buy happiness, but it can buy a hat, and that's kind of the same thing. Okay, and over here we've got Winnie the Pooh, and here we've got Pooh and a card. It says Bees and Honey. This little book has a lot of Pooh sayings, but the most important thing is, even if we are apart, I'll always be with you. Some people care too much. I think it's called love. Sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart. Don't walk behind me, I may not lead. Don't walk in front of me, I may not follow. Just walk beside me and be my friend. And then here's a couple of little Pooh sayings. And there's a bee prayer. There's Pooh again, getting into the honey. And here's a couple of little bees, bee charms. And here's a pocket back here, and it says beautiful memories. And here's a couple of girls jumping rope. Play like you mean it. And here's a pretty little girl with a nice saying on there and a birthday tag. And then we're getting to the end. Here is Alice in Wonderland. That's my favorite ride in Disneyland. Here's Alice in Wonderland book charm. And these two were, I got these off the internet, as well as these little cards, little teeny cards with different sayings. And I lined them with the paper that I used here. And they just kind of tuck behind the Cheshire Cat. And here's Alice's book. Alice says, "How long is forever?" The White Rabbit said, "Sometimes just 1 second." And here's some vintage comic book pages. The Mad Hatter. "Have I gone mad?" Alice says, "I'm afraid so. You're entirely bonkers, but I'll tell you a secret. All the best people are." "I'm not crazy. My reality is just different from yours." Cheshire Cat. And there he is. And that brings us to the back here. It says the end. And I've got this pretty little fairy girl tucked in here on a card. And there's another envelope. This is a little note to my friend Candy. So wishing her a very happy birthday. And the last little card here, of course, has a very tiny little envelope with a very tiny little note that simply says, "Always make wishes, especially on your birthday." And there it is. So this was quite a joy to put together, and thinking of my friend the whole way through. And thank you for watching, and I appreciate you looking at this with me, and I hope it puts a smile on your face. Bye-bye for now.